Hello and welcome to the Spiritual View again. We're back for part two.
Part two with Linda Grindel. And we're discussing mediumship. And we just have some questions that we'd like to talk to you about. And
Sure.
just
Hit me.
Hit you, huh? Okay.
Do you work with guides?
I do, but I can't tell you who exactly they are, but they speak loud and clear. One time when I lived in Laguna Beach, I had a very vivid encounter with what you would call evil.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't know about evil. But I was sitting on a chair and I knew I had to say the Lord's Prayer out loud. If I didn't say it and mean it, I was going to be crashed into the ceiling. And this demon was in the room, and there was all these people sitting in the chair. And I could hear them crashing. I could hear the people going up into the ceiling, crashing, screaming bloody murder. And I sat and concentrated and said the Lord's Prayer. And I woke up in panic, but I was concentrating. And you know, in life, I didn't know the Lord's Prayer. I knew it in that. So I'm saying it out loud when I wake up. And this man came to me psychically. I could hear him. And he's saying, remember to always fight the evil. Very clearly. And he was very stern, but very loving. So he's talked to me a couple of times in my life. He's not all there all the time. Because when I do drama, like I'm begging and crying, they kind of look at me like, figure it out. They're not sympathetic like probably some people. They're loving, but they're stern. It's really weird.
It's tough love.
Because when I used to read, when I started getting ego bound and think, you know what they did? They said, oh, let's just take this gift right away from you. I actually thought I lost it for good. But I didn't realize it's because they're not going to mess with me. It's like I'm a circle 8. What goes around comes around. I have to be very careful what I do or I'll get messed up. I just know it. It's just whatever goes around comes around with me. Not everybody has that. But with me, I have to be very careful.
I have instant karma in my life too.
Yeah.
Stole something once and it made my hands feel. I'm never doing that again.
No. And you can't talk about people. You can't judge people.
I almost feel like they can hear me. That's how telepathic sometimes.
Yeah.
So I almost can't. I don't even want to have the thought because they can.
Sometimes like I'm angry at something and a lady cut in front of me or something, and they're saying to me, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
They'll say, because I'll go to get ink, and they're like, "What are you doing?" Shit. Right. Sorry. It's like, let it go. Just let this stuff go. If it's not important, let it go.
It's nice to have those reminders, though, because you can get very caught up in your human experience. So it's good that they're there to...
Especially me with my kids. Do you ever watch the Goldmans? That show, the Goldmans?
I've seen it, and it's really fun.
Oh, the mother. When she walks into school, the teachers dive under their desks. They're afraid to... That was me. I did not let no teachers bully my babies. Mm-hmm. My kids were so embarrassed. But I was too defensive for them. They got to where they kind of depended on that. I learned my lesson, but I was just like, I was always angry at teachers because my dad always took up for teachers. If the teacher said it, they were right. And I was a good kid and a good student. But I got beat because the teacher said I looked spaced out in class. I mean, why would you say something like that? Yeah, I'm spaced out. That's because I was visiting another realm. So what's your big deal? But you know what I'm saying? I because he was so hard on us, because whatever the teacher. So I had an anti-teacher thing.
Yeah.
And then my mother was a coupon fanatic. Every Sunday we had to sit down and cut out. And she'd be at Safeway with a big, thick packet of coupons. And to this day, I refuse. Like the people say,
that's so lack mentality.
Did you see that coupon? I ain't holding no coupon. I'm not doing coupons. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's funny. So you mentioned evil. I'm curious your perspective because, different people I've talked to, different mediums, they say different things about evil. Some people don't believe that evil exists. Some people believe, well, there's good people, there's bad people. So you're going to encounter souls that have good and bad, but there's no evil. What is your take on that?
I believe in evil.
Okay.
And let me tell you, I didn't believe in evil before. but I've seen evil, and I've worked with evil because I clear people's homes that have evil in it. And we even had one of those camera things that show the outline of the body.
Oh,
And that energy form, when I was hitting it with my
thermal camera?
no, it's
it's the one that shows a skeletal or.
It is the weirdest thing to watch that on camera.
Well, this thing, I was hitting it with holy water from Lourdes. And that thing did this, but it wouldn't leave. It fought me tooth and nail.
Okay, so I used to see a lot of really scary stuff when I was a kid, and I didn't understand it then, but I have more of an understanding now. And it was what I thought was evil then, but now I'm realizing that what my interpretation of it is there was a lot of negative things happening in the house, and in that stagnant areas of the house, like a closet, right? The energy accumulates and starts to begin to take on its own form of consciousness. It becomes an entity.
Yeah.
Like the boogeyman.
Not a poltergeist.
But like a
It's
boogeyman.
not attached to me. Almost, yes. And it's almost like it can like be fed with fear and become a really evil thing.
But there's evil.
Do you think there's like evil that's like was here on Earth before we came, or like?
I know that there's actual, I don't want to scare you guys, because it doesn't hit that many people.
Yeah.
But there's actual kind of demon activity going on Earth. And I read a guy one time, and he came in and I sat down. This is when I was working through nursing school. And he sits down and and I have never in my life felt such evil. I was like the hair on my arms was sticking straight up. I should have won Best Actress. I faked the whole reading, didn't know what I was doing or what I was saying, but I knew I had to get him away from me. He sat there and he seemed very nonchalant, but I could sense evil. He leaves and I tell the girl, oh my God, that guy was evil. It was somebody's brother. That next week he murdered 2 people. I'm telling you, the demon was on him or an attachment or something was on him. But I know there's that real negative. I don't know about hell and damnation, but I do know there's a real negative, and it can turn into real ugly, ugly, ugly. Yeah. A lot of people in politics like that.
Yes. Do you believe that if someone removes fear from their existence, that they are protected from evil?
I think so.
Completely?
I think that you can really protect yourself. Yeah. I've seen cases, I've seen people get hit, good people. I often wondered, is it a past life thing? Are they being hit by something that followed them into this life? Yeah. Because there's some really good people but it's not that often. It's not a lot. So that's the good news. But, I've talked to priests that have absolutely done exorcism. And let me tell you what, there is such thing as evil. They've seen it.
Interesting.
So, just protect yourself all the time. Because, we are opening doors. So I have to be very careful. Like Christ said, shake the dust off your feet when you're walking out the door. Just keep it away.
It's very true.
What about, have you had any experiences with angels, to be on a lighter note?
Angelic forms? Well, I think the St. Michael energy form was around me. Christ form was around me. And Mary was around me. And I'm not Catholic. I'm just telling you. And I think they're angelic forms that come around. But I haven't actually seen angels. Have you guys seen any angels?
I see like energy. I see energy. I don't see like a form of a person or anything. They're energy. I feel energy. I see energy, and it's usually that compassionate magenta color, like you said. Yeah. It's like pure love, and you feel it through every cell. So and then you're like high for hours.
High as a kite.
And you're like, I don't need to eat or sleep or anything. I'm just it's very intense.
It's so interesting that you said the magenta color, because going to sleep when I was little, I would go to this place where I would see the swirl of magenta.
Oh my God! So
I would go into that place, and it would feel so good, and that's
it. That's the highest form. Awesome. Yeah.
The angel I think it's an angel that's been with me since I was really young, that protected me and also kept me out of a few situations that would have been really bad. Just looks like a ball of energy and feels like that.
Okay.
And I mean, when I tune into like what Christ would feel like, it's very similar. And it's like, is it really a different entity? I don't know. Maybe it's just pure love. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's the love thing. See, because when I got hit when I was 8, and then my parents were atheists. And then I started going to church. My parents were like, Kathy invited me I took communion at the church, and I wasn't even Catholic. I would go with my friends to Presbyterians or whatever. I got to where I could go to Bible study with my friends and know more about the Bible than anybody in the. So anyway, so when I started going now, and they started talking about this Bible, which I was managed to get a copy of, I'm like, what this energy was telling me is nothing like the Bible. There's no damnation or hell be damned or you're going to think this way or don't think at all. There's no telling people that this is how. It didn't feel right to me. Right. So I have an issue with the Bible. Mm-hmm. I think anything written by man is of man. The real story is when you're connected on the other side, and it's a whole different story. Mm-hmm. They're not into you reading that Bible, because the Bible was chopped up by Constantine. Everything was taken out that he didn't like, especially the story of Mary. And, they made her out to be a prostitute, total lie. All of that. Yeah. So I'm just telling you, the Bible is not, some parts of the Bible, maybe the story of Christ, some parts of it is okay, but I really am not into the Bible.
I had the same experience. My family wasn't very religious. They were raised Catholic, but haven't gone to church. When I was a child at all, ever. Never talked about God. And when I was 9, I got really curious about it, and so I started to go to church with all these different churches and shop around.
Just shop around.
And I got the same thing. I got it really this resonated with me when they talked about a punishing God, and I was like,
what?
That's not what God is to me. I had this personal relationship that I feel like it's a loving father figure. It's you can do no wrong, It's how we would look at a baby,
I even had 2 nurses I worked with in the ER. They were traveling nurses, lovely girls, fantastic energy forms. I was like, these gals, would you like to come with us on Mother's Day to our church? It's in Berkeley. Sure, I'll go with you. Yeah, sure, I'd love to go. I thought, well, so it don't hurt, I guess they thought they'd save me or something. They take me into this church. They hand a carnation to all the mothers. I sit down. The guy comes up in the pew. Honest to God, this is what he said. This morning I was driving by. He was like a grocery store or something to pick up the carnations or whatever. And he says, and I saw all these beautiful mothers all dressed up, and I thought, isn't that a shame they're all going to hell?
Oh, my God.
He said that. They're all going to hell because they don't believe in the Savior or some. I was like, so.
That's what I heard when I was 9. I went to a church and they were like, if you don't save other people, you're going to hell. Basically everyone's going to hell. I was just terrified sitting there as a 9-year-old. And I was like, this fear is not love. This is not God.
And and what the other thing, which I'll tell you is really key, and remember this. Make sure you don't, because I was very no, that's bullshit. But if you go into a state of resistance, you screw yourself. Right. So we can't really say, oh, F you, you're wrong. You almost have to say, what a shame. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're just not seeing the truth.
You have to stay neutral about it.
You
do.
Because
then you feed into it.
Because if you get angry and all upset, and what the hell are you guys talking about? It screws you up.
Yeah, very true. I agree.
I have so many dead people come to me, and one of the first words out of their mouth was, Linda, I was just too judgmental. Mm-hmm. And they have to see everything they judge. They have to go. You have to go. That's your purgatory. That's your hell. You have to go through every single thing you did on this earth.
Take responsibility.
And the good things stay and the bad things get peeled off, or you're even people who commit suicide aren't going straight to hell. I've seen a lot of people commit suicide that actually were gathered and taken care of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
But, people that carry these deaths and make it that's all about them, that they're the ones that really struggle when they get on the other side. Because sometimes they really want to meet that person that they missed, mm-hmm. and it's not quite time because that person's vibration's higher than them. Mm-hmm. Remember, if you want to see your loved ones, you vibrationally, if you're always in mourning, then guess what? It's going to take you a while to get over there.
Mm-hmm. So can you describe a little bit what your understanding of the other side might be like?
Oh, well, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm looking forward to it myself. It's almost like instant manifestation of whatever you want. Now, you cannot lie over there. Your ego is totally gone. Everything's melted away, and there's a lot of beautiful energies that come around. You're just vibrationally very happy. If there's some stuff stuck on you, they work with you on it. They show you your life. There's no thing of, oh, well, you're being sent to damnation. There's none of that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of healing, and it's really beautiful. But the vibration, you can only go as far as your vibration. So the Christ vibration is way more powerful. Like, it takes some people a while to get there. I feel I'll be first class going right now.
So do you think that we're here to kind of raise our vibration? Like what is the purpose of
the transition, if you on Earth can raise your, like George, it's like you can transfer over. Did you know that his wife said that when he died, there was a flashlight? And I believe that because his energy was so vibrationally, I imagine a lot of very powerful, beautiful energy forms just went like a flashlight and they're on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know, even if you do things in the name of Christ and you suffered in the name of Christ, there's ego stuff on that too.
Suffered in the name of
Christ. There's what was her name? Mary. What is that?
It's just no, it's not a spider.
Oh, it is an old spider.
Right. Okay. It's all right, people. It's just a spider.
You and your house and spider.
You know what? It's true. What were we talking about?
We were talking about transferring over the other side. Yeah. Okay, so there's some saints that in life, well, they call them saints, but in life it was all about being without and blah, 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 and just constantly being in submission. And that's not what that's about over there. So they were very shocked when they got over there. And just like, well, you know, if Christ really said that, but he said he who is first will be last. Those who think they're the most holy, you know, you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Right.
The main thing is not judging and being quiet in your head.
So I kind of know the answer to this, but for the viewers, what is the most common message that Spirit wants to relay to their loved ones?
I'm more alive now than when I had a body.
I say that all the time.
They say that all the time. I'm more alive now than when I had a body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that'll be the name of my book.
Oh, nice.
I've got the conceptual outline going, but I'm more alive now. That was just so profound. That first guy that told me it was beautiful.
I say that all the time. That's what I.
Well, that's what they're saying.
I hear too. It's so.
And it's like they keep repeating it, and I'm thinking, am I just getting the same tape? But that's what they're saying. They are alive. Even like, oh my God, I've seen so many things, you guys. I've had such healing take place. I remember one time I was doing this group, and I saw this girl's uncle, and he was looking at water. He was sitting in his car, and he was looking at water, and all of a sudden his life was gone. And she starts crying, and she said, that was my uncle. He was in his car, and he was looking at the water, and some guy came up behind and shot him in the head. And his life was snuffed out. And he came through. So powerful. And he's like, so sorry. Tell her I am so sorry. Please tell her how sorry I am. And he was just begging me. And I was like, hey, listen, this is really heavy, but he's so sorry. He's so sorry. Ended up he had molested her. Mm-hmm. And she forgave him. So guess what? She isn't tied into that anymore. It's done.
Yeah.
But only with forgiveness can you disengage, you know, because a lot of them are coming in, please tell, you know, I'm so sorry. But when you release that and you don't hold on to that, like with any kind of negative energy, it just frees you. I cannot begin to tell you how, boom, you're just taken off.
It's almost like what I see is like energetic cords between the two. Mm-hmm. The unfinished business that needs to be healed for both of them so that this person here in physical reality can evolve and be free and they can be free over there.
Right.
And it's almost like that's what mediumship is. That
also takes you to, but it takes you spiritually to one of the highest levels. Yeah. But nothing outside of who you are or what this beautiful path is, well, nothing outside of that will make you whole. No husband, no child, no money, nothing, no being at the thing and I'm going to live without money and only give to the poor. No, that's all ego-based. The only thing that can make you whole is being quiet and allowing them to work through you. And that is when the real magic starts. Mm-hmm. It's cool. I'm living it. I'm living it. Listen, and it took me a long time to get there. A long time. But sometimes I literally sob because of the beauty and the absolute, I can smell it and taste it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going.
I feel like I've been there.
Yeah.
like in this lifetime.
Really?
I don't know if I had a near-death experience or not. I had a head trauma, and afterward, I was so psychic after that.
I got hit by a car when I was 8. I think that's what happened.
And it was just, I had this appreciation and like gratitude for everything.
Oh, that's usually an encounter.
It was very interesting, and it changed my perception. And I go back to how that felt as like my go-to point. That's how I should be. That's where I want to be.
You want to walk
and
around
I feel like
that.
it was like I wasn't declared dead. I wasn't. I don't know. I was unconscious, but it's almost like what I feel like people go through when they go through near-death experiences.
Right.
I'm obsessed with learning about it because I feel like that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you wake up and you can't help but live a better life. You can't help but feel cleared and cleansed and like,
Exactly.
I can create a new life now. Every moment is a new beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to hold on to that stuff. And that's like, I feel like that's what Spirit's always just trying to relay. Like, just, I'm sorry, forgive me, and I love you, and
right.
You can live your life now.
It's hard to be on this earth and live with the Spirit all the time. It's very hard. And I don't know who's actually done it, do you? There's certain human aspects of us that seem like we're going to have. You got to have certain things in your life. But that love, especially when bad times befall you, just vibrationally go there, and it heals everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when my parents died, I didn't really even cry because I knew where they were going. But when I was even 10 years earlier, I would have been, unresolved and, but I knew they were cool. I knew it was going to work out okay.
This is really hard too because it takes the victim mentality out of it.
Right.
Like everyone thinks there's this victim and things happen to you and, life's unpredictable and it brings all this fear in. And it's about like removing that fear.
Right.
That's the messages I hear a lot too.
Did anybody else have near death?
I don't believe I did.
Too.
I felt like I was dying when I was giving birth.
Oh.
But
I had sepsis. I had a blood infection. It was bad. I literally felt like I was dying. I probably would have died without modern medicine. And I so did not want to give birth in a hospital. And it's just, of course, it's like saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Made me appreciate that. That was terrible.
No near death for you?
I mean, emergency surgery twice.
Oh, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, the second time I was kind of like, I'm okay. Like, whatever happens, happens.
Whoa. So you had a lot of peace with it.
Yeah, I did.
That's vibrationally standing in the manna of heaven.
I want to ask you more about that later.
That's good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, tell us about this book venture that you've discussed a couple of times.
Oh, they kept bugging me. I was just trying to relax and eat my pizza in bed. And they said, as clear as day, you're going to write a book. And I'm like, what? About me? No, about the journey and about give the keys to help others help themselves. I said, okay.
That'll be a good read.
Yeah, so I'm sitting down. In fact, another psychic. You guys heard of Lisa Williams?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a reading from her, and she told me, "You're going to write a book." After they had already told me.
told you got to write a book.
And she said, "Linda, this is yours to do or not, because they give you free will. But trust me, this book, your parents have come forward and told me to tell you it's okay. You can say the truth, because my parents were Scorpios. And what went on in the house stayed in the house. They were very, very, don't talk about us outside of the, it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
And by doing this book, some of that stuff's going to come out. And they were like, it's fine. Go ahead. Go do it.
Wow. Interesting.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to read that book.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even this talk has been super informative. I feel like even just hearing your stories of vibrations is
Already hired?
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely.
Plus, I put acid in your drinks.
Oh, gosh. Well, you can check out Linda on her website, Linda Grindel.
www.lindagrindel.com.
You can go on her website and you can schedule a reading.
Yeah, that's going into July right now.
Yeah, going into July, but sign up because it's worth it.
The link is below.
Yes, we'll post the link on the site.
Thank
It's
you.
down here
Of course,
somewhere.
yeah. And you can also follow her on Facebook as well.
It's, yeah, what did I changed it. Tana made my webpage. She said the famous stand-up psychic or something like that. But I'm not really doing stand-up, and I don't consider myself famous. That brands me with ego base. I think I just put Linda G. Comanche psychic because I'm very proud of my Comanche heritage. I'm a quarter blood registered. Got my ID card from the federal government.
The 110-pound, you know.
I went up a little there. That's because my other Indian friends are all bigger too. So, it's Linda G. Comanche Psychic, and it's a Facebook page.
Facebook page, and then you also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, what is that one? Linda G. Comanche Psychic.
Same thing.
Psychic/medium.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. She's interesting. She's funny as hell.
If you're for Trump, don't check it out.
Politically do not get involved. I'm pretty sure most people who are in that.
Well, the first thing I did when I first went on there is I said, look, you guys, I know everybody can't stand a lot of people. Well, I'm in California, so you have to understand that. But I said, as long as we keep doing this drama about him, we're causing a resistance. So it's just going to get worse. You cannot hate him, even though you want to. You cannot. You have to allow the universe to take care of business.
It's true. So, with anything that happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is an empowerment for all of us to understand that this too shall pass. And I actually see that things are going to get better. Everything within our nation is going to get better. Right.
This is true.
This is true.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank you. It was nice being here. Thanks for the
really
snacks.
Fun. Oh, of course.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned, and we will post when our next video is going to be up. So thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.